So, Isam, that's your name, isn't it?
Yes, Isam of Tamar.
A good-looking guy like you must get a lot of attention from the girls, right?
Are you asking me for courtship?
Me? No. Wings don't do anything for me. No, I was just thinking, maybe you had your eye out for somebody special?
I'm without a mate. The women of Tamar are cold and unfriendly, and whenever I try to talk to one of them, she ignores me.
Huh. Even Nima?
Nima? No, she's too pretty for me. She won't appreciate my attention.
This is like high school. Trust me, Isam. You go talk to her one of these days, and I'm sure you'll find you have a lot in common. Just be yourself, okay?
You think so? Perhaps you are right. I will do as you say, Windbringer. Thank you.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Mine is the tale of winds, Windbringer. Do you wish to hear it?
Very much.
Then I shall tell it. This is the tale of winds, my tale, and I pledge to tell it in my own words, as told in turn by my teacher. In the village of Karan, in the mountains of tall winds, there lived a young Alatien woman named Iuana. Iuana had one desire above all others, to soar higher and farther than anyone else. And even though her wings were no broader, nor her body sleeker than anyone else's, she pursued this foolish desire without rest. And as time passed, she did soar higher, and she did fly farther than the other young Alatien in her village, and her name became known far and wide amongst the tribes of the mountains of tall winds. But still, Iuana was not happy. She was not happy because, in her vanity, even though she was a better flyer than almost everyone else, and to her eyes, she was still not good enough. She wanted to be so much better than anyone else that she would be remembered for all time as the best flyer amongst all the Alatien. And so one day, Iuana decided to climb to the top of Mount Octa'wo, the Tower of Light, and to soar from those giddy heights to the ends of the world. Her friends and her family pleaded with her not to, because every Alatien knew that to soar from such heights was dangerous, that at such heights the air was thin and the winds treacherous. But Iuana would not listen, and on a cold and clear morning she climbed up the Tower of Light to the rock and the ice at the very top. From there she could see to the ends of the world. And it brought tears to her eyes to know that now, finally, she would be greater and better than any Alatien before her. And so Iuana spread her wings and leaped off the mountain. Those who watched her from far below said that for a split moment Iuana soared, and she soared higher and farther than any Alatien before or since. But then the treacherous winds caught a hold of her, and the thin air made her plummet towards the ground, and to fall to her death amongst the rocks at the base of the mountain. In her vanity, Iuana could not see beyond her desire to be the very best. And vanity always stands to fall. That was the tale of winds, my tale, and I told it in my own words, as told to me in turn by my teacher.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Mine is the tale of sea, human.
Would you mind telling it to me?
I would be happy to do so. This is the tale of sea, told in my own words, as it was told to me by my teacher in his words, and to him by his teacher in his words. This was a very, very long time ago, when the Alatien were a strong people. and we could spend days riding the hot winds above the seas. We hunted fish then, and we were at war with the Maerum, the wet-tails. Akalas was one of the strongest warriors there was. His claws were sharp and long, his beak pointy, and his teeth strong. Akalas was admired by everyone in his clan, and because of this he was cocky and arrogant. So one day, the teller of Akalas city asked him to perform a very important and very special duty, to bring a sacred jewel to the teller of an Alatian town across the sea. This particular jewel was very important because it signified a union between the two towns, and it would benefit the people of both that it was delivered safely and promptly. Akalas grinned and told the teller that he would deliver the jewel both quickly and safely, and that she was not to worry. But the teller did worry, because Akalas was young and too sure of himself. But she wanted to test him, and to teach him that sharp claws, a pointy beak, and strong teeth are not all a warrior needs, that a warrior must also be wise and careful. So Akalas set out across the sea on his flight. It was on the fourth day that he spotted something in the water that caught his attention, and forgetting his duty and following his curiosity, Akalas dived towards the water to investigate. When he came closer, he saw that there were Maerum in the water, foolishly hunting close to the surface, and Akalas saw an opportunity to again prove his might as a great warrior to his people, and to capture the fins of a few wet-tails. But this time Akalas' arrogance got the better of him, because the Maerum had set a trap. As he dived towards the Maerum with his claws, a spear shot up from the water to hit him. Akalas struck the water and dropped the jewel he was carrying, and it was all he could do not to drown. Akalas was bleeding, and the Maerum were grabbing onto his wings and his legs, but he fought bravely, and finally he managed to escape. But even though he now lived, he was dead inside, because the shame of losing the sacred jewel would always be with him. Akalas could not return to his village, because he had neglected his duty to his teller and to his people, and so he went away to a small island where he could be alone. To himself and his people, Akalas now became the lost one, he who had been on a sacred mission but had failed in his arrogance. A year passed, and one day Akalas met with human traders from a ship that came close to his island. From the traders, Akalas heard speak of a hideous creature that lived in the sea, the Octa'wo. The Octa'wo was said to have a third eye, like a jewel, and that this eye pulled hapless sailors into its deadly eight-armed grasp. Akalas knew immediately that the Octa'wo's third eye had to be the jewel that he lost in the sea a year ago, and he now saw the opportunity to redeem himself. But Alatien were not used to water, and the thought of submerging himself in the cold, harsh ocean chilled Akalas to his heart. But he was the lost one, and if in his death he could at the very least redeem himself, to his own heart then it would be worth it. So Akalas fashioned himself a spear, because in the water his claws and his beak would be too slow, and he flew out to where the Octa'wo was last seen. And then Akalas dived into the sea. The dark water closed in on him, and his wings and legs went numb. But still Akalas kept pushing down until he saw the lair of the Octa'wo. Spotting Akalas, the Octa'wo attacked, and Akalas saw the monster's third eye, his sacred jewel, shining bright in the darkness, and his heart was filled with a sense of duty and courage that he had never felt before. But as he began fighting the 8-armed monster, Akalas realized that if he were to fight like he usually did, he would not stand a chance. He would have to think differently. And so Akalas tricked the Octa'wo into following him through a tight chasm where the monster got stuck. And then he swam above it, and using his spear, tipped a rock on top of the Octa'wo. Swimming back down again, the Octa'wo was flailing helplessly. Now, almost out of air, Akalas took the sacred jewel from the Octa'wo's head and swam back up. Finally, Akalas could deliver the sacred jewel to the town across the sea, and upon returning to his village, he went to the teller, bowed his head, and said, "Forgive me, teller, for in my arrogance I thought I could do everything. But I could not, and I became the lost one because of it." "You were lost," said the teller, "but you are no more. Because now you see the limits of your own strength, and you will know that a warrior must be careful and wise, in addition to being strong and fierce." This was the tale of sea, and I told it in my own words, as told to me by my teacher.
Hi, Saina.
Hi, April.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
Yes, my mommy taught me the tale of the stars. It's a really pretty story. Do you want me to tell it?
Please, Saina, I would like that very much.
Okay. This is my tale, the tale of stars, and I tell it to you in my own words, as it was told to me by my teacher in her words. In the small village of Jinjay near the rumbling hills of Onion, there lived a girl called Mon'aa. She was a curious girl, and she would always get in the way of grown Alatiens. "Go play somewhere else," they would say to Mon'aa, but she didn't want to play with the other children. She wanted to be where the grown-ups were, to see what they were doing, and learn from them. But one day, after getting many complaints from the pottery makers and guardsmen and traders and soldiers in the village, Mon'aa's mother told her that she wasn't to interfere with the grown-ups anymore, and that instead she could go play with the other children, or sit still and draw or work with clay. But Mon'aa was always curious, and now, since she wasn't to be among the grown Alatien anymore, she decided to go exploring the forest that lay just outside of the village of Jinjay. She had many times been forbidden to enter the forest because it could be a dangerous place, but Mon'aa was very curious. Of course she wasn't planning on going far into the forest, but then her eye caught sight of a white Flufftail hopping through the tall grass, and Mon'aa, curious as ever, gave chase. The Flufftail ran away into the forest, and Mon'aa followed, blind to where she was going, and interested only in catching the white Flufftail so that she could keep it as a pet. But then, after a good while, the Flufftail disappeared into a hole in the ground, leaving Mon'aa alone in a small clearing, somewhere deep inside the forest. She was exhausted after running after the Flufftail for so long, and as she looked around the clearing at the unfamiliar trees and flowers, she realized that she hadn't been paying attention to where she was going. Not for the first time, her curiosity had gotten the better of her, but this time it was serious. Mon'aa was too young to fly, and she had very little sense of direction, and chasing the white Flufftail had made her dizzy and tired. It was getting darker, and Mon'aa was all alone in the deep, dangerous forest, too sleepy and too scared to be able to go anywhere. Mon'aa curled up with her wings wrapped around her under the leaves of a tree and began crying. Soon it got really dark, and somewhere, not far away, wolves started howling at the moon. Mon'aa was so scared she was petrified, but after a while her exhaustion got the better of her, and she fell asleep. She woke up when she heard a voice calling her from somewhere far above. Looking up at the starry sky, Mon'aa saw a vision of the spirits of 5 tellers gazing down at her. "You have let your curiosity lead you astray," said one. "You are lost, and you deserve to be lost," said another. "Poor little girl," said a third. "We will help you home," said a fourth. "But remember this," said the 5th spirit. "We will lead you back to your village and to your mother only if you promise us one thing." "I promise," said Mon'aa. "Whatever it is, I promise I will do it." "Very well," said the 1st spirit. "You will make the story of this night into your own tale, and you will call it the Tale of Stars." "It will be a tale to warn the curious to be careful," continued the 3rd spirit, "and to not let their curiosity get the better of them. And," said the 2nd spirit, "to remind the Alatian that the spirits of their tellers watch out for them when they most need it." And so the spirits of the 5 tellers guided Mon'aa through the forest, and by dawn she was home. And Mon'aa did tell her tale, the Tale of Stars, to everyone in the village, so that everyone would remember that the curious must be cautious, and that the spirits of the tellers are always watching. This was my tale, the Tale of Stars, and I told it in my own words as my teacher did to me.
That was a beautiful tale, Saina.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Saina.
You're leaving again? I wish you could stay.
Me too, Saina, believe me. Hi, Mima.
Hi, April.
Do you know one of the 4 tales of winds, stars, sea, and homecoming?
I had to learn the tale of homecoming. It took a long time, but I think I got it now. I'm better with pottery than I am with the tales, unfortunately. Do you want to hear it?
Please.
Very well. This is the tale of homecoming, my tale, and I shall tell it in my own words, as told to me by my teacher, in her words, and by her teacher in turn. Moran was a handsome young Alatien man with strong wings and a hardy beak. He lived below the white cliffs, where the water was salty and the fish plentiful. Moran was betrothed to Anara, the loveliest girl there ever was. She was fair and slender and tall, and her eyes were the clearest shade of blue. But Moran was hesitant to enter into union with Anara, to become her husband and to give her children. He would always come up with a new excuse for why they had to wait a little while longer. Now, Anara was skilled at pottery, but even more so with stories, and the teller of the village had many times asked Anara to be her apprentice, to learn all the tales, so that someday she could take over as the teller. But Anara refused, knowing that if she did accept the teller's offer, she would never be able to marry Moran, because a teller cannot have a husband nor children of her own. Her refusal to become the teller's apprentice was unheard of, because who could refuse such an honor? But to Anara, love was more important. Her love for Moran was beyond honor, beyond reason. But despite Anara's love, Moran was still hesitant. And then one day he told Anara, "I am traveling on a pilgrimage to the far shores. I will be gone for some time, and while I am traveling, and in accordance with our traditions, I will be freed from our betrothal. Not until I come back will the bond between us be renewed." It was not unusual for a young Alatien man at that time to go on a pilgrimage, and the bond between the betrothed would often be cut while he was away, to be formed again upon his return. But Anara was heartbroken, because she had thought that Moran would soon want to marry her. When Moran saw her tears, he said to her, "Do not weep. When I come back, I promise I will marry you. Just wait for me, and stay with your pots, to make the time pass quickly." and then Moran left on his pilgrimage to the far shores. Many years went by, and Moran had exciting adventures on the far shores, but by and by he began to long for home, and for Anara, and now he had finally realized that he loved her, and that he wanted to marry her. But when he returned, he could not find Anara amongst the potmakers. He went to visit her family, and they told him that, after waiting for many years, Anara accepted the teller's offer of apprenticeship, and that when the teller left on the last wind during the previous winter, Anara herself became the new teller. Angry, Moran made his way to the teller's nest, and when he saw Anara, he said to her, "You promised me you would wait." But Anara did not say a single word in answer. She just turned around and lifted something wrapped in leaves from the cot behind her and gave it to Moran. Moran unwrapped the package, and inside he found an old pot, cracked and broken in two. "What is this pot?" he asked. "And why did you not wait for me like I asked you to?" And finally Anara spoke, and she said to Moran, "I made this pot for you, my dear Moran, when you left, because I wanted it to be my marriage gift to you. But when many, many years passed, I finally realized that you did not love me the way I loved you, and to live hoping otherwise would be death." "But I want to marry you," cried Moran. "I came back." But Anara just nodded at the broken pot in Moran's hands and said, "Like an old pot that is left without care, a heart may break in two, and a broken heart can never be mended." And so Anara turned away, never to speak with Moran again, and Moran's heart, like the pot that was left untended, broke in two, because absence makes a heart brittle. This was the tale of homecoming, my tale, and I told it in my own words as told to me by my teacher, and as I will tell it to my student when the time comes.
Bye, Nima.
Goodbye, April.
Halt! Who would visit the teller? Are you ready for the questions now?
Yes, ask me the questions.
In the Tale of Winds, which mountain did Iuana fall from in her vain attempt to fly higher and further than anyone else?
Mount Octa'wo, the Tower of Light.
That is correct. In the Tale of Stars, what did Mon'aa see in the sky that helped her find her way home?
The spirits of 5 tellers.
That is correct. In the Tale of Sea, what creature did the Lost One battle in his quest to recover the sacred jewel?
The Octa'wo?
That is correct. My final question to you is this. In the Tale of Homecoming, what was given to Moran by his teller when he returned from his pilgrimage?
A broken pot, to teach him that absence may break a heart in two.
You have correctly answered all my questions, and so have proven your knowledge of the 4 tales. You are the Windbringer. The teller would see you presently.
She's the teller. She must be over 100 years old.
Come closer, human. Closer. I cannot see your face. Closer still. Come sit here by me. There you are. You see, my eyes are not what they used to be. Ages ago, I could spot a ladybug crawling up a straw of grass from 15 tree lengths up. Now, I have a hard time seeing my supper. But my ears, balance be praised, my ears, they are as good as ever. I could hear you outside, learning the tales my children tell. You are a good listener and a fast learner.
They were interesting stories, and your people told them well.
That is what we do. The Alatien are the keepers of the tales, and I am their teller, the one who must know all the tales told since the day we came to this world.
How can you do that? How can you remember every story ever told?
The secret is to tell them often and to tell them in your own words, not the words of your ancestors.
Doesn't that mean that the stories change with every generation?
Yes, as all tales must. Change is important. Otherwise the tales will have no meaning to us. They will just be words, and we do not care about the words. We care about what the words tell us.
How long have your people been telling stories?
Since the beginning, human. Since we came to this world a long, long time ago.
You're not from Earth? From Arcadia?
Not according to our tales. We came on a great wind before the divide, when the earth was one and humans had yet to learn of magic and science. But we were a different people then, and the tales we tell from that time are vague and incomplete. Like myths and legends, the younger Alatien pay little attention to these tales. Sometimes I worry they will be lost with me, these tales, and I am getting old, very old.
I came to you to find answers to some important questions.
Ask, and I will try my best to answer.
Have you heard of an ancient god or dragon that lives beneath the sea?
Once, long ago, when my people lived in harmony with the Maerum, there were stories of an old god worshipped by the Maerum who resided deep in the darkest depths of the ocean. According to legend, the old god had once brought the Maerum into their realm, into the ocean, and he was now sleeping, resting before the journey back.
Back where?
To a great ocean amongst the stars. When the time came, he would gather the Maerum and bring them home with him, back to their world, to their ocean. Strangely enough, we have a similar tale. It is said that the great wind that brought us here will someday return to bring us back to a place where we can soar forever on warm winds.
Like heaven?
In a way, perhaps, but without the need for any of us to die. The great wind will just sweep us up and carry us away. Every evening before I go to sleep, I recite this tale to myself. It is a comforting one.
What do you know about the Draic Kin?
The kin are numbered 4, or so our tales tell. 2 in this world, 2 in the other. The mirror world, the white and the blue, the red and the green.
Do you know where they are?
No, the tales never say. The kin are elusive. They keep to themselves. I have never seen one myself, and I doubt any of my kind has. The tales do say that our past and our future are tied to the fate of the kin, but how I would not pretend to know. This is one tale that is yet to be told.
Do you know anything about the Guardian's realm?
This is human business. Would you not know more than I?
Your people are the keepers of the tales. You remember more than humankind has forgotten. Please, I need to hear what you know.
That is very little. The Guardian's realm is home to the Guardian in his tower. No one is permitted within except the Guardian who was, the Guardian who is, and the Guardian who will be. And of course the Draic Kin, who were instrumental in its making.
Have you ever heard of the existence of a hidden entrance to his realm?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have heard tell of such a thing, though I would not know where it is. I gather that one of the kin may be able to tell you.
Thank you. I don't have any more questions.
I am glad I could help you with some answers.
I'm the Windbringer.
I know you are. It's strange to me to hear those words spoken. I did not think they would be in my lifetime. But here you are, standing in front of me as real as the sky is blue.
I'm sorry I have to ask, but what is it that the Windbringer is supposed to do for you?
I did not expect you to walk in here and have all the answers, child. The balance has both blessed you and cursed you, and it has sent you here to do what it wills. The Windbringer is said to be the first sign of the great wind that will take us away from here. For a long time, the Alatien have lost the strength they used to have. Our bones have become weak, and our wings fragile. Where we used to be able to soar for days on strong winds, we are now using our legs to walk rather than fly. Why this is, we do not know.
10 yen.
You know of the reason for this?
I'm just guessing, but it makes sense. Go on.
The tales also say that the Windbringer will unite us with our past and end the age-old strife.
I know. You must make peace and be reunited with the Maerum. You share a common ancestry.
I have always thought we did. The tales were too similar, the signs clear. But my people, they will have a difficult time understanding why and how this can be.
If you don't, both the Alatien and the Maerum will die out. When war broke out between your people and you were forced to move up into the mountains, it compromised a precarious symbiosis. A substance called 10 yen was abundant where the Maerum and the Alatien lived in close proximity. It brought fish and heat and light to both your people. But now, living up in the mountains, your way of life, your diet, your customs and habits, they've all changed. And that's probably the cause of your brittle bones and fragile wings.
Then we must make peace with the Maerum and restore the balance between us, so as to strengthen us both and prepare us for the journey that will surely come soon. When our sitting is over, I will speak to my people, and I will elect one representative from the Alatien to meet with the Maerum in a place of your choosing to open a dialogue.
I guess it's time for you to talk to your people and for me to make arrangements with the Maerum.
Where do you wish for our meeting to take place, Windbringer?
You want me to decide? Well, I know. Send your ambassador down to the ancient caves by the beach. Inside, there are remnants of an old Alatien settlement and a Maerum city. It's a good place for your two people to meet, don't you think?
Yes. And could you ask if they would bring their half of the stone?
The stone? You have the other half?
We have held on to it for centuries, knowing that someday it would be of use to the Windbringer.
It will, trust me.
Then we must make haste and arrangements. It is an important day, so let us not waste light. Go and wait for my ambassador in the caves.
It's amazing. This place is so beautiful, and the scent of sea and rock and nest. This scent is of home. This was home a long, long time ago, according to the tales. We lived in peace with the with the Maerum back then.
Now you'll be able to live in peace again. And with the 10 yen bringing fish to your doorstep, you'll be able to eat well and restore strength to your bones. Soon you might even be able to soar on the winds for days like you used to do.
I hope you are right, Windbringer. And I hope that the Maerum will see the sense in it too. They are coming, are they not?
They said they would. Hush, I hear something.
We are here, Waterstiller, as was promised.
Good. Now, as representatives of your respective peoples, you, the Queen of Maerum City, and you, guard to the Alatien Teller, must fulfill the prophecy and join the two parts of the one stone.
We hope that our peoples may be joined again, Alatien, and that we may live in peace and prosper.
As do we, Maerum. And we pledge to do all we can for this to happen. The stone is now whole, Windbringer, and the Alatien and the Maerum will once again be as one. You may take it with you.
Thank you. The both of you.
Come now, April, and we will take you to our sleeping god. May his wisdom guide you and lead you down the right path.
Like a shell than a rock. I don't think it's a rock. I think it's alive! The sand is covering something. It's some kind of organic sensor. It's soft and spongy. Hello? Is anybody in there? Spooky. Well, I guess it's an invitation of sorts. There's air in here, and it's dry. I swear I'm never taking a bath again. That doesn't look like a natural protrusion. It's too big and round.
I know you. Be afraid. I know what you are.
You do?
Yes. Yes. What would you hear? I do not like to be disturbed. I wish to be left alone. I wish to rest until the day of ascension.
Some things are more important than your nap time.
There are always things more important. But I do not care. That is why I am down here, in the deep, away from the worlds. The affairs of man are no concern of mine.
That's a fine attitude. Just bury your head in the sand and let the world pass you by, huh? That way you can spend eternity in blissful ignorance and solitude.
I do not mind being alone. I like the silence. What do you want from me?
Just some questions is all.
Then ask and be gone.
What am I?
What do you mean?
You said you know what I am. What am I?
You do not know. Then it is not I who should teach you about your heritage. You must make this discovery on your own.
Listen, I'm tired. I'm wet. I'm at the bottom of the sea and I'm breathing with the help of a polyp stuck in my esophagus. So just cut the Buddhist bullshit about a journey of self-discovery and answer my question. Please?
Your question has already been answered. That is all I will tell you. Your journey began with an answer. It is only now that you know the question.
That's so not helpful, but thank you. What is the Day of Ascension?
The day when the kin return home. When my siblings come to me, and we rise toward the stars for our journey back to our cradle. This is the Day of Ascension.
So you're going back to wherever it is you came from?
We will, eventually, when everything is ready.
When what's ready?
I will not answer that question. It is not necessary for you to know.
I need to know where I can find the gateway to the Guardian's realm.
So you come to me.
They told me, well, they as in the few people who could tell me anything at all, they told me that if anyone would know, it'd be you.
I know. When the earth was divided, there was a doorway left open where the tower was built.
But it's moved, hasn't it? That spot. When Stark and Arcadia were created, that spot moved somewhere else.
Into the sky. Amongst the stars.
But where?
I knew you were coming. Your journey has not been a quiet one. Even down here, I could hear you. I speak with the dark people. They are my messengers. They have prepared a map for you with the entrance you are looking for.
You knew I was coming and why? Then, okay, I know this is probably a futile question, but why didn't you send the Dark People to me earlier? You could have saved me a lot of time and hard work.
You are afraid of time and hard work.
No, but it's the principle of it, isn't it?
No, it is not. You had prophecies to fulfill. You had a purpose. Bringing
I'm looking for a jewel called the Dragon's Eye.
Yes. I have one such jewel.
I guess that's it.
Take it.
Are you sure?
Take it. It is yours now. It is part of your destiny.
Okay. Tell me if it hurts.
Now, I wish to sleep.
You said something about a map?
The Dark People have it. They will meet you. I will bring you to them.
What? Now?
Yes. Hold on.
The ship is enshrouded in a thick fog, very mystic-like. I can't see where we're going through that fog. I can't see the face, but I think it's a man. A tall man wearing a dark cloak. He's one of the Dark People, whatever they are. Thanks for taking me on board.
Who are you?
Well, I thought you... I mean, didn't the old dragon... Well, I'm April Ryan, from Stark, and I guess you're a dark person.
But who are you?
I'm just a student, not anybody special.
You are special. Who are you?
I'm not. I'm just... I'm the Windbringer. I'm the Waterstiller. I'm April Bondu Mbata of the Banda and the Venar Kangang La. I'm a shifter. I will someday become the 13th Guardian, the protector of the balance. And I'm April Ryan. This is who I am.
Yes, that is who you are. And you are a wave.
Why am I, a wave?
You have a purpose. You play an important part in the cosmos. A wave is someone who propels people and events toward change, towards the future.
And that's what I do?
You are a wave. There are ripples from your passing, and they spread wide and far. Those ripples will never die down. The worlds will be changed by your journey.
You're telling me that everything I do affects the universe?
You cannot escape it. You are a wave.
The ancient dragon, the blue of the Draic Kin, told me you had a map for me.
A map of stars, yes. It was made for you in our library, and given to me to hold. It is yours now. Keep it well. It is the only one.
I'm looking for an ancient stone given to you by the Sentinel, the Fathers.
You came for the stone. Of course we have it with us. Our ship would not have been chosen to meet you were it not for the stone we carry with us.
Everybody's just waiting around for me to show up, so that they can give me stuff. Who knew adventuring was going to be this easy?
It will not always be so easy. Of that I can assure you. But here is our stone. We entrust it to you. as we were instructed to do when the Fathers first entrusted it to us.
Can this ship take me back to Marcuria? I mean, would you mind?
We will bring you to Marcuria henceforth. It will take the night, but we will be there at first light.
That's fine. Thanks a lot.
You are free to rest here, to sleep, while we travel. The flames will keep you warm, but do not move too far away. My brothers are not friendly with outsiders. They do not take kindly to intrusion.
I'll keep that in mind. I'm staying right here.
Good. Sleep. Did you sleep?
Very comfortably, thanks. Where are we?
In the Marcuria harbor.
But there are barely any ships here.
I do not know why. We must leave you here. We have other business. Carry your wave into the future, April.
Whatever that means, I'll try. Where did all the ships go? They're gone. This can't be a good sign. I mean, duh. The city looks strangely quiet and deserted. And the sky, those are not ordinary clouds. They look more like smoke. What's going on here? I know that sound. And I know that vortex. Shit! Cortez must have found me, and just in the nick of time, too. God, that was close. What caused that shift to open just in time? It has to be Cortez. Finally.
Hello? Anybody there? Who's there?
It's just me.
April, it's good to see you again.
It's Father Raoul. Father Raoul, where is Cortez? I thought he'd be here.
I haven't seen Cortez for a week, and it worries me. He usually stops by once every few days.
When did you last see Cortez?
It must have been, I think it was last Sunday. Exactly 1 week today. He's been gone longer than that before, but this time
What?
This time I have a feeling there's something wrong. I don't like that feeling.
How are things here?
You mean in the cathedral?
No, I mean here in Newport. How have things been going?
Nothing out of the ordinary. Why? Have you been away?
You could say that, yeah.
It's just been hot and humid, and is getting worse by the day. And apparently crime is on the rise. But what else is new?
Is there anything you're not telling me, Father Raoul?
I don't know what you,
Yes, you do. You're no ordinary priest. You know about Stark and Arcadia, about the balance, and I'm sure you know a lot more about Cortez than you're willing to let on.
How did you...
I heard you and Cortez talking last Sunday, and it scares me. And pisses me off to think that you're using me, that you're keeping things from me. I thought for sure that I could trust Cortez, but as it turns out, I can't. I was hoping to confront him with this, but he's not around, and you're part of it too, aren't you?
April, you have to trust me when I tell you.
Sorry, I can't trust anybody anymore. There's so much at stake, and I don't know who to trust, Father. Please, tell me what you know.
I'm sorry, April. I'm sorry you don't feel like you can trust anyone anymore, and I'm sorry that I don't know more than I do. But I will try to answer your questions honestly and openly as much as I can.
Who is Cortez?
What do you mean?
The way people react when I mention his name, the fact that he seems to have been alive for a very long time, and that he knows as much as he does. Who is he?
It's funny, but I've been asking that very same question myself many, many times. Who is this man? He's old, yes, and powerful. He has strong magic, but he rarely lets on exactly how strong he is. He prefers to be considered eccentric, crazy even. They are both excellent disguises.
You still haven't answered my question about Cortez.
That's because I cannot answer. I just don't know. He found me when I first came here. You see, I'm not just a Catholic priest. I'm also a sentinel, a minstrel.
You're a minstrel?
Yes, do you find that strange?
How can you belong to two religions at the same time?
Belief in the balance and belief in God are not mutually exclusive. The Sentinel Order was founded on the basis of protecting the balance, not to worship a higher power. As long as our devotion to whatever God we believe in doesn't conflict with our duty to the balance, and vice versa, who is to say we can't work in the best interest of both?
I guess. I just always thought of the Sentinel as its own faith.
It is a faith, but a faith in something less than God, yet more than magic or the laws of nature. The balance was created by someone, was it not?
I don't know.
Nor do I. But I believe. I have faith. That's enough.
How did you become a Sentinel Minstrel?
The Sentinel are not numerous in Stark. Not yet. Not with the Vanguard, the Church of Voltec, keeping a watchful eye and striking down anyone who dares to proclaim their faith in the balance. But the Sentinel are here, and when they find someone who they believe will be sympathetic to their cause, they approach them. That's what happened to me.
They asked you to join?
No, they told me the truth. I was studying theology at the time, and I found scriptures that challenged conventional wisdoms, made me question the validity of my faith. But once I learned the truth about the balance and the Guardian and the ongoing war with the Vanguard, it became easier to believe in God again, because now things made sense. And so, in the end, I chose to become not only a priest, but a minstrel, and I don't regret my decision.
Have you ever been to Arcadia?
No, I'm not a shifter. I'm stuck here, unfortunately. I don't mind. I've been fortunate enough to read most of the scriptures of the balance, and that in itself is a rare privilege for a Starker like me.
What did you mean when you said Cortez found you?
One day, he came to visit me here. He knew who I was, that I was a minstrel, and that I was devoted to restoring the balance as well as to my God. We soon became good friends. He was very worried about the imminent collapse of the balance, yet told me that he was waiting for someone special, someone who might be able to help us.
Me?
Yes. He waited for a long time for you to show up, and when you did, it was hard for him trying to convince you that he wasn't crazy. I guess his disguise was too good. I don't know much more than that. Cortez tells me very little, only that you're the key to the survival of the balance. I can only assume that you're the new guardian?
That's what I've been told. Not by Cortez, of course.
No. I understand your frustration, but I cannot help you any more than I have. If there's anything at all.
Thanks, Father. But you've done enough.
It feels like I've done nothing. But God be with you, and the balance too.
I don't have any more questions right now.
If you do, please ask. I want to help, and that's the truth.
I have to run, Father.
I hope to see you again soon, April. Please take care of yourself. And if you see Cortez, tell him to see me. Tell him that I've been worried.